Another reason why I'm blaming Matt Lafleur for this collapse against the Chicago Bears is because of the Packers' special teams hurting them in this particular football game. But this was not the first occasion where we have seen a football team that's led by Matt Lafleur, the special teams unit, has hurt the Packers in key pivotal playoff moments. In this particular game, and this is the other person who deserves blame for this collapse, is Brandon McManus. Brandon McManus, he missed not one, but 2 field goals, a 44-yarder in the fourth quarter. The Packers had a 44-yard field goal opportunity for Brandon McManus. The score was 27-24. If you make the field goal, you go up 30-24, and even if the Bears score, you're only down 1 point. So on the final possession, all you need is a field goal to win the game. And Brandon McManus goes up there and completely misses a 44-yard field goal that could have put the Packers ahead by 6 points. Not only that, he missed a 55-yard field goal attempt to end the half. But I don't blame him that much for that one. That's a long field goal. But the 44-yard missed field goal with 2 minutes and 56 seconds left to go in the game, that cannot happen, Brandon. And then when the Packers scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter, they scored a touchdown. Matthew Golden scored a touchdown. They went up 27-16. Brandon McManus missed the extra point. So even if you miss both of your field goals, Brandon, you missed the extra point. If you make the extra point, when the Bears scored their touchdown, instead of it being 31-27, it would have been 31-28. And Brandon missed the extra point. So he missed 2 field goals and an extra point, which is 7 points that costed the Packers in this pivotal playoff game. 7 points. Brandon McManus, we should have left his ass on the south side of Chicago. He should not have been allowed back on the flight to Green Bay. He should have been left in Chicago in the south side, because that is absolutely ridiculous at that key pivotal moment in the football game. And again, I got to give Matt Lafleur some of that blame as well, because this is not the first time where we have seen the Packers special teams unit fail them in a playoff game. It happened in 2021 at Lambeau Field. Packers have a 10-3 lead over the 49ers. This was in the Aaron Rodgers era. This is in the divisional round of the playoffs. Packers are up 10-3. The offense had stalled in the second half, but I'm thinking as a Packer fan, we're going to win this game 10-3 because our defense is playing outstanding. Packers are inside the 10-yard line. They're inside their own 10-yard line, so they're punting. They get the punt blocked by the 49ers. The 49ers score a touchdown on the block punt. It's a tie game. It's 10-10. And then the 49ers kick a game-winning walk-off field goal. And then it happened in 2023. In 2023, the Packers have a 21-17 lead over the 49ers in the divisional round yet again. This time, it's under 7 minutes left to play in the game. It's Anders Carlson. He misses a 41-yard field goal that would have given the Packers a 24-17 advantage over the 49ers, and they would have had a 7-point lead heading into the final 6 minutes of that game. So we have seen on multiple occasions during the Matt Lafleur era as Packers head coach where the special teams unit has failed the Green Bay Packers in key pivotal playoff moments. So to me, Matt Lafleur and Brandon McManus deserve majority of the blame for why the Packers lost a game in which they had an 18-point halftime lead. And even heading into the fourth quarter, they had a 21-6 lead over the Chicago Bears. So for me, Matt Lafleur deserves some of the blame, and Brandon McManus deserves some of the blame. The third person who deserves blame for the Packers' collapse against the Bears is defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. The Packers' defense completely fell apart in the fourth quarter. They gave up 25 points to Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears in the fourth quarter. So that means in the first three quarters, the Packers defense held the Bears in check. The Bears only had 6 points going into the fourth quarter. And in the fourth quarter, they had a total meltdown as a defense. And even without Micah Parsons and Devontae Wyatt, and they also lost Adrian Cooper in this game as well. Defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley, your defense has to get at least one stop. At least one stop, bro. At least one stop. I mean, Jordan Love had, to me, his best playoff performance in this game. I know he played well against the Cowboys in Jerry World in the 2023 NFL playoffs, and he had 48 points in that game. But in this particular game, he had 4 passing touchdowns, over 300 yards passing, and put up 27 points. And the defense couldn't get one stop in the fourth quarter to hold off Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. That is on defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. Now, when it comes to whether or not I believe the Packers should fire Matt Lafleur, I believe in relationships and in marriages, when you get into a disagreement or an argument with your partner, usually you are always thinking in those particular moments, I'm ready for this to be over. I'm ready to break up, and I'm ready for us to go our separate ways, especially when it comes to infidelity. But I have seen throughout my 35 years of living that even couples who have infidelity issues, some couples are able to overcome those infidelity issues and they remain together. But when you first find out that your partner is cheating on you, or you get into a disagreement or an argument with your partner, you are ready to break up immediately and never look back. Saturday night, if you were to ask me, should the Packers fire Matt Lafleur, I would have told you absolutely. I am ready for him to be gone. Saturday night, I was pissed off as a Packers fan. And I know Packer Nation felt the same feelings that I felt in the immediate aftermath of the Packers losing an playoff game against their division rivals in the Chicago Bears after having an 18-point halftime lead. I was ready to move off of Matt Lafleur and for the Packers to not sign him to an extension. I was ready for a new head coach in Green Bay. But that's why they always say never make permanent decisions based off of temporary emotions. I'm looking at Matt Lafleur, and Matt Lafleur, as Packers head coach, he is 79-46-1, which means he's won 63% of his games as Packers head coach. And in 7 seasons as the Packers head coach, Matt Lafleur has led the Packers to the postseason 6 out of his 7 seasons as their head coach. He's also been to multiple conference championships as the Packers head coach. And he's a great offensive mind. Matt Lafleur is a great offensive mind. He's a great play caller as well, and he knows his offense. He's forgotten more offense than I'll ever know. But Matt LaFleur's playoff record as Packers head coach is 3-6, and in his last 5 playoff games, he is 1-4. He's 1-4 in his last 5 playoff games as Packers head coach. So after taking some time and thinking about the Packers and where the Packers are as a football team and how I feel about Matt LaFleur as the Packers head coach, and after listening to Ben Johnson, who has made this rivalry between the Bears and Packers personal again, I heard Ben Johnson in the locker room saying F the Packers, and we seen the handshake between Matt LaFleur and Ben Johnson after the game. And Ben Johnson, when he got the Bears head coaching job, one of the first things that he said in his introductory press conference was he enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. So after hearing Ben Johnson say these things about Matt LaFleur and hearing Ben Johnson say F the Packers in the locker room after the Bears beat the Packers 31-27 in this playoff game, and I thought about Matt LaFleur and how much success he has had as Packers head coach, I believe the Packers should bring back Matt LaFleur for the 2026 NFL season. But I do not believe that the Packers should give Matt LaFleur an extension. They have a new president and CEO in charge now, and that's Ed Policy. And when Ed Policy took over as the president and CEO of the Packers, Ed Policy came out and said that neither Matt LaFleur or Brian Gutekunst is the general manager for the Packers, he didn't give neither LaFleur or Gutekunst contract extensions. But he also said he doesn't like people on his staff to have to be lame ducks, meaning next year is LaFleur's last year on his contract. So he would be a lame duck head coach heading into the 2026 NFL season. But for me, after watching what I saw Saturday night in Chicago, Matt LaFleur should be a lame duck head coach heading into the 2026 NFL season for the Green Bay Packers. So yes, he deserves to come back and be the head coach for the Green Bay Packers next season. But I don't want to give Matt LaFleur an extension right now. Not right now. I have to see how Matt LaFleur coaches the Packers next season in the playoffs. Because now the clock is ticking on Matt LaFleur. The clock is ticking on Matt LaFleur. This are the Green Bay Packers that we are talking about here. You can't just get the Packers to the playoffs as the head coach. You have to actually win playoff games. And in the last 5 playoff games, Matt LaFleur is 1-4. His playoff record as Packers head coach is 3-6. So we can sign up for this for one more season. But I personally would not give Matt LaFleur a contract extension. I would have Matt come back, and we'll see how he performs as Packers head coach in the 2026 NFL season. And we'll see if he coaches the Packers better in the playoffs, because they'll be a playoff team next year. They got a bunch of players coming back next year. Tucker Kraft will be back. Micah Parsons will be back. Devontae Wyatt will be back. Bo Melton, Nate Hobbs, they'll all be back next season. And that's another thing, too. The Packers had notable players out in this particular playoff game. No Tucker Kraft, no Micah Parsons, no Zach Tom, no Elton Jenkins. Elton Jenkins and Zach Tom are 2 of their best offensive linemen. No Nate Hobbs, no Devontae Wyatt, no Bo Melton. So they had key players out in this game. And before I get to the Bears, I want to say this real quick about the Packers and Bears this season. This tells you everything you need to know about how the Packers have collapsed against the Bears in 2 out of their 3 matchups this season. These are offensive plays while leading. The Packers, in their 3 matchups against the Bears, they have had 106 offensive plays when leading. The Bears have had 0 offensive plays while leading against the Packers this year. So that tells me that the Packers, in all 3 of their matchups this season against the Bears, they have outplayed the Bears they played in 13 quarters. The Packers have outplayed the Bears in 10 of those 13 quarters. The only time where the Bears outplayed the Packers was in the 4th quarter of the first matchup at Lambeau. The Bears outplayed the Packers in the 4th quarter of the second matchup at Soldier Field, and they also outplayed the Packers in overtime. And then they outplayed the Packers in the 4th quarter. So, okay, in 13 quarters, the Packers have outplayed the Bears 9 of those 13 quarters. But they have not been able to finish these games, and that's the reason why the Packers are eliminated from playoff contention. But for me, it was a total Packers collapse in this game. But I am happy with Jordan Love. I thought Jordan Love played great in this particular game. I think Jordan Love made progress as the Packers quarterback this season. And I loved the development of Jordan Love from year 2 to year 3. This year, Jordan Love, 27 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 3,930 passing yards. I thought Jordan Love played sensational in the playoff game. And honestly, I felt like Jordan Love had the best quarterback performance of the weekend. Seriously. I mean, Jordan Love had over 300 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. That was one takeaway from the game as well. Jordan Love outplayed Caleb Williams. And yes, the Packers lost the war, but Jordan Love, as a quarterback, to me, he made progress this season. And he's now a good quarterback. And I think right now it's Brock Purdy and Jordan Love. And then there's other quarterbacks who are below them, but they're not bad. Like I think C.J. Stroud, Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Herbert, they're a tier below even those guys. But like the Strouds of the world, the Daniels of the world, those guys to me are below Jordan Love and Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy and Jordan Love have both made strides. Brock Purdy particularly for how he's performed in the playoffs. But Jordan Love, I thought, had a great season. For the Bears, as much as I hate the Bears, I have to give the Bears and Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams credit because they have been the cardiac kids from Chicago. They have had 7 game-winning drives this season. And in the 4th quarter of this particular playoff game, the Bears scored 25 points. That's the 3rd most points in a 4th quarter of a playoff game in NFL history. So the Bears have been doing this all season long, and particularly Caleb Williams. I got to give Caleb credit. And this is so painful for me, but I got to give this dude credit. Caleb Williams against the Packers, in his first 3 quarters, he had 177 passing yards. His touchdown to interception ratio was 0-2. His passing rating was 41.7 in the first 3 quarters. In the 4th quarter, Caleb Williams had 184 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. His passing rating was 110.0. So Caleb Williams does a great job in clutch moments for the Chicago Bears, and he deserves credit for that. Ben Johnson, I thought in the first half, I thought Matt Lafleur outcoached Ben Johnson. And I thought he was actually coaching circles around Ben Johnson. Matt Lafleur, that is. But I thought Caleb Williams saved Ben Johnson in the second half. And that play that Caleb made, I believe it was under 6 minutes left to go in the game. It was 27-16 Packers. It's 4th and 8. And the Bears it's their last hope. And Caleb somehow rolls out to his left. The Packers lose contain, and he throws the football up the left sideline. It was an amazing throw. So Caleb Williams deserves credit for being a clutch performer. The dude is great in fourth quarters of football games. And I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again. For whatever reason, Caleb struggles with the easy throws, but he makes the hard throws easily. It makes no sense. It's like a basketball player who is a great three-point shooter but misses layups. It makes absolutely no sense. But Caleb does the difficult things extremely well, and he deserves credit for that. We'll see how they perform as a football team next week in the divisional round against the Rams. But Caleb, Ben Johnson, they got it done over Jordan Love and Matt Lafleur. And this was a very, 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 very depressing night for me. And it was hard for me to have to come in here and say this. And don't get it twisted, but this blew on. I'm a diehard Packers fan through and through. But Bears got it done over the Packers. They got bragging rights for now. But don't forget, Bears fans, there was a time where the Packers beat the Bears 9 straight games. There were 9 games in a row where the Packers beat the Bears. So for now, I'll give the Bears credit. They deserve this moment, and they earned this win. And they have earned 2 out of their 3 wins against the Packers this year. They have earned both of those wins in comeback fashion. But I do want Matt Lafleur back as the Packers head coach next season, because I have now seen this Packers-Bears rivalry be awakened again. Packers-Bears back, and I'm here for it. And I want Matt Lafleur to be a part of this, because I don't like how Ben Johnson disrespected my head coach. I ain't feeling that. So I want Matt back next year. And right now, 2 best teams in the NFC North, Packers-Bears. Bears-Packers back, baby. Good job, Bears. Go, Pack, go. There you got it.